evening and welcome to everybody. It's great to see so many people here this evening. It's absolutely fabulous, actually. I hope you enjoy yourselves. Have a really good time. Put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, for the all new branches.
Thank you very much, and good evening, everybody. Go on, you can do better than that. Good evening, everybody. We're absolutely overwhelmed tonight by the number of people that are here. It's amazing because this concert was only sort of planned 2 or 3 weeks ago, and it's wonderful to see you all here tonight, and it gives us a wonderful opportunity of sharing with you some new songs that Michael's been busy writing in the last 18 months. The song that we've just sung, actually, Michael deserves a special round of applause for.
I don't think so.
I think so. He's very modest, he never changes, does he? Because last Christmas, Michael entered that song in a Radio Lancashire Christmas song competition, and he won it. So it was played quite a few times, I think, last Christmas song on the radio, so it was wonderful to see someone actually recognise Michael's songwriting abilities, and we're going to hear a lot of new songs tonight that he's written. So this next one is called The Hope and the Glory.
Sunlight
Is anybody old enough to remember the Lone Ranger? Yeah? Well, what? Oh, you remember? Well, Lone Ranger, you know the Lone Ranger and Tonto, the Lone Ranger's a cowboy, and Tonto's an Indian. And the Lone Ranger's riding up on his horse Silver, and it's his Tonto spread out listening to this track on the road. And there's this big car track, or a horse and cart track. Stagecoach, that's it. And he's got his head down like this. And the Lone Ranger says to him, "What have you found out, Tonto?" He said, 35 minutes ago, Stagecoach came past. He says, "That's amazing, how do you know?" He said, "It ran over me." It's good to... sorry?
Doesn't get any better, does it?
It's good to see you all tonight. We're knocked out by the fact that so many people come. It's amazing. Maybe you came just to... maybe there's so many people here because you haven't heard branches for 18 months. It's 18 months ago since we were let loose. Maybe you've come because you've nothing better to do. Maybe you've come to see the new line-up. Or maybe you've come because it's free. I don't know, but probably one of those is true. I think at this point, since I've already mentioned the new line-up, before I do mention the new people, I think it would be appropriate this time if I thank the people who've been involved with us over the years who've retired. And Brian's now in old folks' home. He's at the back.
There he is.
No, we thank Brian for all his efforts, it says here. And he's missed. He's missed, honestly. And Rachel for singing and looking good. So I've got to carry on from that point of view. Before tonight, you know, we spent a lot of time deciding what we should wear, and I think I've got to say, really, I've turned out best. No, we've all turned out reasonable, apart from David. I've got to mention the new people. Some of the new people aren't new people, they've just been resurrected. Michael's back in the band. He got fed up with just writing songs, so we got Michael back in. David and Carol and me, you know. Daniel, he's had a baby. Well, he hasn't had a baby. His wife's had a baby, and you know what it's like when you get home from work and he's squawking and crying. He said, "I feel the Lord's leading me to a ministry out a few nights a week." So we got Daniel involved again. And the lovely lady on Carol's right is Pamela. Some of you know Pamela, most of you know Pamela. So that's enough about us. It really is nice to see so many people, and it doesn't seem like 18 months ago since we actually did a concert. And we thought we'd sound it out tonight, and if we get a naff reaction, we'll all go home and forget it. But maybe from tonight, opportunities might open up, and maybe you'll want us to come to your church if it's free, or if we're available.
Tanzania?
Yes, I wish you would, Bill. We are thinking of sending a container to Tanzania, and I suggested we send Bill, but this won't let him in. Something about rabies. Anyway, tricks you to open your mouth, Harris. Right. Some of the songs you will know, some of the are new ones, some of the ones are brand new ones, and this is one that I think, if you're old enough, you remember it. It's called Outlaw.
Some say he was an outlaw who roamed across the land with a band of unschooled ruffians and a few old fishermen. No one knows just where he came from or exactly what he'd done, but they said it must have been something bad that kept him on the run. Some say he was a poet, that he'd stand upon the hill, that his voice could calm an angry crowd and make the waves stand still, that he spoke in many parables few could understand, and the people sat for hours just to listen to this man. was a sorcerer, a man of mystery. He could walk upon the waters, he could make a blind man see. That he conjured wine at weddings and did tricks with fish and bread. That he talked of being born again and raised people from the dead. Some say a politician who spoke of being free. He was followed by the masses on the shores of Galilee. He spoke out against corruption and he bowed to no decree. And they feared his strength and power, so they nailed him to a tree. Say he was the Son of God, a man above all men, that he came to be a servant and to set us free from sin. And that's who I believe he was, yes, that's who I believe. And I think we should get ready, 'cause it's time for us to leave. And I think we should get ready, 'cause it's time for us to leave.
I often wonder if Jesus came back tonight, who people would think that he was. When he came the first time, people thought he was all those different things, and yet only a few recognised that he was actually the Son of God. He wasn't really a ruffian or a poet. Well, he was a poet, but he was more than that. He wasn't a sorcerer. He wasn't a politician. He was really God's Son who came to this earth. And that's a wonderful thing, because we all believe that Jesus Christ is real today, and he can live in people's hearts and in people's lives. This next song is probably very appropriate for the modern day. We're all very busy people, aren't we? We all rush about, charge about from here and go to there, and we never seem to have time to do things these days because everything's done at breakneck speed. We live in an instant society, and everybody wants things yesterday. And sometimes it's difficult to actually take time to be still with God and to talk to God. And this next song reminds us about that. It's another one of Michael's songs, fairly new on this, and it's called To Be Still.
Lord, in the stillness it's clear
next song talks about worshipping God. We read Psalm 95, we read these words: "Come, let us worship and bow down. Let us kneel before the Lord, our God, our Maker. Because He is our God, and we are the people of His pasture, and the sheep of His hand." Just the sheep of His hand.
Teach me how to worship now, bow down and honor you. Touch me with light and understanding of who you really are. So near and yet so far, ruler of the universe, least to hear our praise, makes faith to override the question why, and fills me with such joy that I could cry. And all the hosts of heaven must be praising you on high, reaching out to glorify your name. And even in my weakness may I worship at your throne, singing out in truth, Lord Jesus, come. Nature can proclaim well, its silence speaking will tell all the truth that I'm finding. Somehow we really are so near and yet so far, author of the universe, worshipped in our praise, gives faith to overcome the question why, and makes me feel so good that I could fly. And all the hosts of heaven must be praising you on high, reaching out to glorify your name. And even in my weakness may I worship at your throne, singing out in truth, Lord Jesus, come. Teach me how to worship now, bow down and honor you. Touch me with light and understanding of who you really are. So near and yet so far, ruler of the universe, least to hear our praise, makes faith to override the question why. And fills me with such joy that I could cry. Fills me with such joy that I could cry.
David's very kind when he mentions about me writing a lot of songs. In fact, two of the songs.
Bill's good.
No, two of the songs that are actually written by Larry Norman, and Outlaw, of course, is one of them. We're going to do two songs now that we've had with us for many years. The first one is Sharing Life, and the next one is Still Depend on You. Sharing Life starts off by speaking about finding God. Then it goes on to speak about romantic love and finding a partner. Now, I hope that doesn't sound too mushy. You know? I mean, finding a wife is a wonderful thing, you know. So Julia tells me, yeah. So, some of you have been kind enough to ask us to sing this at your wedding, and so perhaps it means something to you as well as it does to us. So it's Sharing Life.
very much. That last song was talking about what you can depend on. There's a lot David mentioned earlier about in this busy world that we're in. There's so much, there's so much stress. You know, I've got a theory about stress. I think it's hereditary. I'm sure you get it off your kids. Another thing that causes stress, you know, is people telling you things that you already know. You get inundated with information that people don't need to tell you. Prior to the election, I noticed one of the party people were saying, if they get elected, they're going to put a lot of time and money finding out why there's so much lawlessness in prisons. I thought, well, that's easy, it's full of convicts. That's why there's a lot of lawlessness in prisons. People tell you things that you don't need to know. I rang up about a holiday, and they said, they give me the figure, and they said it's like £20 with a bath, and it's £25 with a shower. I said, what's the difference? He said, well, you stand up in a shower. But you don't need people to insult your intelligence like that, do you? But what we do need, you know, is people telling us things that we don't know. And this song that Michael wrote, Larry Norman didn't write this, did he? No. Are you here, Larry? No, you're not. Michael actually wrote this, and it talks about a guy in the Old Testament. I don't think you knew him, did you, Michael? No. And this guy had a job, and his job was to warn all the village and the nation if there was problems or if the enemy was approaching. He was called a watchman, and it was his job and his responsibility to warn people of dangers ahead. And you know, we feel one of the reasons that we're in this work is to tell people not necessarily about a warning, but about the good news of Jesus. And that Jesus doesn't want to warn you and frighten you to death. He wants to tell you about something that's going to work now. And the message that we've got is not to warn you, but to excite you about the fact that Christianity is real and it's exciting and there's a purpose in it. So this song is hopefully maybe telling you something a little bit new, or maybe you haven't thought about it this way before. It's called Watchman.
Raised up the dead, even walked on the
This next song is a Larry Norman song. I'd like to ask you a question. When will Jesus come again? These are the words that we read in Matthew's Gospel, chapter 24 and verse 36. No one knows when that day or time will be. Not the angels in heaven, not even the Son. Only the Father knows. When the Son of Man comes, it will be like what happened during Noah's time. In those days before the flood, people were eating and drinking, marrying and giving their children to be married, until the day Noah entered the ark. They knew nothing about what was happening until the flood came and destroyed them. It will be the same when the Son of Man comes. 2 men will be in the field. One will be taken and the other will be left. 2 women will be grinding grain with a mill. One will be taken and the other will be left. So, always be ready, because you don't know the day that your Lord will come. Remember this: if the owner of the house knew what time of night a thief was coming, the owner would watch and not let the thief break in. So you must always be ready. Why? Because the Son of Man will come at a time when you don't expect him.
Life was filled with guns and war. Everyone got trampled on the floor. I wish we'd all been ready. Children died and days got cold. A piece of bread could buy a bag of gold. I wish we'd all been ready. There's no time to change your mind. The sun has come and you've been left behind. Man and wife asleep in bed. She hears a noise and turns her head. He's gone. I wish we'd all been ready. 2 men walking up a hill. One disappears and one's left standing still. I wish we'd all been ready. There's no time to change your mind. The sun has come and you've been left behind. Life was filled with guns and war. Everyone got trampled on the floor. I wish we'd all been ready. Children died and days got cold. A piece of bread could buy a bag of gold. I wish we'd all been ready. There's no time to change your mind. The sun has come and you've been left behind. There's no time to change your mind. How could you have been so blind? The Father spoke, the demons died. The sun has come and you've been left behind. 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 You've been left behind.
is another of Michael's new songs. And, talks about taking the step of faith. And tonight, in our own service tonight, we've seen two of our young people take a step of faith, because Eddie and Heather are going out to Tanzania and to help start up an orphanage there, and it's called the Bethany Project. I don't know if any of you have heard about it, but Eddie and Heather have taken this step of faith, and this song is about taking a step of faith, and I think it's about taking a personal step of faith. And when I was 13, I came to realise that I needed God in my life, not just so that I could go to church and feel good about it. I knew that I needed someone to help me live each day and be a personal saviour to me. And at 13, I did ask Jesus into my life, and I haven't looked back at all, and I'm so glad that I did take that step of faith so many years ago, because I know that I wouldn't be here today, obviously, singing for God, but I know that I couldn't have lived my life without God. I just can't see how I could have lived a life, a daily life, without God being there with me. And it was because I took that personal step of faith. And I just really encourage anybody who hasn't taken that step of faith in their life, if there are things that doubts and fears that may be stopping you from actually asking Jesus into your life. Perhaps you've been a churchgoer for years and years, but haven't really found that you can have a personal relationship with Jesus. And this song is called, or the last line of this song says, finally, faith must be the key. For someone to believe, a mind beset by questions, or so much to forgive. Don't think that it's impossible, for anyone can tell. Finally, faith must be the key. Think that it's impossible, like reaching for a star, or starting on a journey man's never done before. Don't think that it's incredible, for anyone can tell. Personal faith must be the key. And I wonder if you dare take a step to take you there. Can you walk now? Will you fly free? And I wonder if you dare not be grounded by your fear. You've got to grasp what you can't touch, and even look when you can't see. Do you think that it's impossible, the struggle to believe, like years beyond a window, so much to receive? Don't think And I wonder if you dare take a to grasp what you can't touch, and even look when you can't see. Do you think that it's impossible for one to find the way? The dawn of understanding, not very far away. Don't think that it's impossible, for anyone can tell. Finally, faith must be the key. Finally, faith must be the key.
Nice furniture.
Thanks very much. Can you just get back to that yellow piece of paper? You're all wondering what this yellow piece of paper is, aren't you? Well, this yellow piece of paper is an opportunity for you to get branches to come to your church. Or if you don't, branches will get you. No. What we thought we'd do is just distribute some papers and maybe get a bit of work. So we've got 20,000 of these at the back. We've got a few. If you're interested in whichever fellowship you come from, thinking about using us somewhere, people have said before we should go to different places, as far away as possible, some people. But we've come up, because of the new format that we've got, we feel that we can be used in different. I'm glad you came, Bet. Bet always gets in for nothing. I only have to look at her and she laughs. I can't understand why. There's some of the venues that we feel that we can be used in. So if you're interested in using branches at all, get a leaflet off David. David's the guy who's looking after the sound of the back. Handsome fella, he's not. I hope you've enjoyed this evening. And that bell. Up in there. I got it in before you said anything. I hope you've enjoyed tonight. We've got one more song for you to think about. We hope that we've made you think a bit. Not often people go in church and think, but we hope that we've made you think a bit tonight. Some of the words that the songs that Michael have written hopefully have been challenging, making you think. One of the lines that came out of a song was grasp what you can't see or grasp what you can't touch. And that is faith. That's faith that holds the key. Somebody said, you know, the most dangerous part of your life is the first 3 minutes of your birth. But I wonder about that. I think the last 3 minutes before you die is a bit dodgy as well. But somewhere in between, there we are, aren't we? Somewhere between the first 3 minutes of life and the last 3 minutes of life is us. And we just get one shot at it. And there's all sorts of things come into our lives. Circumstances change. We've got to decide whether this religion thing is useless, of any good to us, of any use. And we've all asked ourselves the question, haven't we? Why am I here? What's the point of life? And maybe tonight you're not, as it were, a religious person. You don't go to church much. That doesn't matter. But you will probably ask yourself the question, why am I here? What is life about? Well, we hope that through some of the songs we've tried to explain some of that. And you know, we believe, unless you get God into your life, you've never really understood what life is about in its fullness. You've only been part of a person. You've never been a real, complete whole person. And you would never have a real peace in your own life that's ongoing if you've never asked God into your life. And we're going to invite you to do that tonight. We don't want you to just come forward at the end. Or make a big appeal. But if you want to talk to somebody because you've never allowed God to become part of your own experience, come and talk with us. We'll talk with you and we'll explain a little bit more. We don't want to pressurise you. But I feel we've got to give you that opportunity, because somebody here tonight may not be a Christian and you've been messing around with this for a long while. And maybe God's saying to you tonight, you've got to sort it tonight. I've been telling you long enough, you've got to sort it tonight. And I want you to come and step onto my side, and then you will find really what life is about. Don't mess around any longer. Now, if that's you, please come and talk to one of us afterwards, or talk to somebody you know who's a Christian. But the other aspect, or the other side of the coin, you know, is there's Christians, and all over the world, Christians somehow seem to be striving as well, even though we've got this God in our lives. And sometimes it's so confusing. Christianity gets very complex if we're not careful. But to me, it's very simple. God just comes into our lives and just tells us what to do, and we just got to listen. And you know, we're only a shadow of what God wants us to be unless we live the way that God wants us to be, with brothers and sisters and with everybody that we come in contact with. God has got the best plan possible for your life. And if you want that, you've got to realise that God's got to be in full control. And maybe as a Christian tonight, you're struggling. And it's really getting you down, you're getting nowhere. And you've never really allowed God full control. You're only a shadow of what God really wants for you, and He's got the best. So please think about these things and come and talk to us, but ask yourself the question, am I a shadow of what God wants me to be, or am I the best?